Hello everyone. Kristy-Lee here and welcome to episode number 34 of How to HR. Happy Thursday. I hope you're doing well and having a fabulous day or a fabulous week, I should say, wherever you're joining us from and whatever you are up to. Where I am, the weather is getting warmer and the days are getting longer, which is good news for me. I hate winter, so I'm pretty excited to see some warmer weather on the way for us. And I hope you're also having a great week, as I said, wherever you're joining in from. Now, today we're covering a really, really important topic on How to HR. And if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. It's fabulous to have you here. How to HR is a weekly video series we hold live each and every Thursday inside our Facebook group and, of course, over on YouTube as well. So if this is your first ever How to HR, welcome. It's great to have you here, whether you're catching the replay or joining us live. I really appreciate you spending a few minutes with me on a Thursday, where each week I try and give you a strategy, a tactic, a tool, a little tip that's going to help you to grow and build the team that's going to deliver you not only success in your business, but more importantly, the freedom that you seek. Because none of us got into business because we want to work 80 hours a week, yet that's the situation we often find ourselves in. So today's episode, we are talking about retaining top talent. So once we find a star employee and we bring them into our business, our next focus always shifts to how can we keep them? How can we keep them happy? How can we keep them engaged? How can we keep them for as long as possible if they are truly a star employee? And today I'm going to share with you 3 key ingredients to retaining the best people in your business. Now, of course, as you would know, being a savvy business owner or a leader or a manager within your organization, there are lots and lots of different ways we can retain staff. There is no one silver magic solution. There are a million different things you can do, and I really encourage you to think creatively when it comes to staff retention and to think about things that really are in line with your business values, with your culture, with how you do things around your business, and to embed retention strategies in that are completely aligned with that. Because when we don't do that, when we're using other things to retain people, it becomes incongruent and we have a little mismatch. And it means we're using strategies to retain people that aren't in keeping with our business culture. And that can create friction and tension. And it also can create an environment that you didn't want to create, where your staff are in control more than you are. And that's not what I want for any of you. So today I'm going to share with you 3 key ingredients to staff retention, and a lot of the different retention strategies that are out there will fit into one of these 3 buckets basically that I'm going to share with you. So each of them I think about them as a big bucket with lots of things that could go in there in terms of retention. The first one is, now this may sound obvious, but I can share with you that probably 99% of the businesses I work with, when I'm talking to a team that is unhappy, dissatisfied, not engaged, and when that happens, they're often looking to leave the organization, it often comes down to this very thing. The first key ingredient to staff retention and to keep great people in your business is to make great decisions. Again, I understand that sounds obvious, but think about it this way. You've made a great decision by finding this superstar that you've brought into your team. But what other decisions are you making in your business that's going to impact this employee's journey within your organization? What decisions are you making when it comes to who else you're bringing into the team? If you bring someone into the team that isn't a great values and culture fit, or that isn't competent and capable to do their job, how do you think your star performer is going to feel if they're carrying the load for that person? If you make decisions to create roles that don't really make sense and don't fit in with the flow of your production or your operation or what you're doing, how do you think your star performers are going to feel about that? If you make decisions to take on more work than any human can possibly handle, and it's going to set totally unrealistic work pressures onto your star employees, how do you think they are going to feel about that? So making great decisions as a leader within the business is one of the best things we can do to keep good people with us for the longest period of time possible. I mean, making great decisions about who else to hire, when to hire, what roles to create. making great decisions around what technology to use in your business, making great decisions around what work you take on and what work you reject. I was hearing on a podcast the other day, the whole John West saying, it's the fish John West rejects that makes John West the best. There's a little bit of that in the decisions we need to make. And most importantly, as a leader, making decisions. Nothing is going to disengage your team faster than feeling like you are a rudderless boat where you don't know where you're going and that decisions aren't getting made and things are getting stalled. I worked with an organisation recently, it was a couple of years ago, and their leader, the person in charge of their business, very senior position, we're talking CEO level, not only could barely make a decision, particularly when it came to people in the business, but if they did make a decision, they would not stand by it and they certainly would not communicate it. That business had massive staff retention issues, not because they had bad employees, but because when they found good employees, they simply wouldn't stay because the leadership was weak, and particularly the decision-making of the leadership was weak. So think about it from that perspective. Every day as a manager, a boss, a leader, we are making a gazillion decisions. Think about those decisions in the framework of your best employees. Is this supporting them to be their best employee ever? Is this supporting them to push themselves, to drive further, to try harder, to do more? Or is this getting in their way? They're the kind of decisions that are critical to retaining top talent in your business. So number one is make great decisions. Number two is to harness the greatness that you've got. I think we can all really easily fall into a trap of saying, we've got this person, they're amazing, they know what they're doing, and leave them to it and just assume, never assume, just assume that they're happy and they're bubbling along and they will do everything they need to be engaged in their role. And that is a false assumption. Once we've got someone great, we need to do everything in our power to leverage and harness that greatness. And I use the word leverage because that is the word we use inside our people-powered HR membership community. We have a framework that every member works through, and it's called the People Pathway. And it is the journey every employee follows when they join your business, right from entry through to exit. And PEOPLE is an acronym: Plan, Employ, Onboard, Protect, Leverage, and Exit. Leverage is what we're talking about here. Once you've got good people, what are you doing to get the best out of them, to get the most out of them, and to give them the most fulfilled employment experience that they can have with your business? We know, the research shows us that engaged employees are more than 20% more productive, and it results in a 20% increase in profitability in the business. Engaged employees stay longer. They are retention gold. So what can you do in your business to harness this greatness? This is where you are looking at things like how you can give this person challenge, creative opportunities, projects. This is also looking at opportunities to harness their greatness by delegating to them, by helping them move through the organisation. Now, this doesn't always have to be ladder climbing. That's a very traditional view of how people want to grow their careers. Most great employees these days are not looking to ladder climb. They're looking to develop the breadth of their knowledge and their skill set in a lot of different areas. Yes, for some of them, leadership is an aspiration. And if you can offer that opportunity, excellent. But you won't always be able to do that if you're a small business. So how else can you give them challenge? What learning, training, and development opportunities can you offer them? What can you do to get the best out of this person? And this comes down to really, really knowing your people, knowing what types of challenges really excite them, what things they would rather stick a needle in their eye than actually do in the workplace, where their strengths lie in terms of when you see them do that kind of work, they are absolutely flourishing. You need to know your people really, really well in order to be able to harness the greatness that you've managed to create in your business. If you can do that with your best employees, they will stay with you longer. Now, you're not going to keep any employee in your business forever, and nor do you want to. There is a healthy amount of turnover that is okay and acceptable and, in fact, beneficial to business. But with your top performers, you want to keep them for the maximum time that is right for them. So harnessing the greatness is key ingredient number 2. And key ingredient number 3 is, of course, rewards and recognition. Now, This is not just about throwing money at people. Financial reasons are not the number one reason people leave businesses. In fact, it's anywhere between 3 and 5 on the list of key reasons people leave an organisation. But people do leave an organisation, and this is one of the top reasons, because they don't feel valued. They don't feel heard, listened to, valued, like their contribution is important. And this is one of the simplest things you can fix if this is a problem. The business I was talking to you about earlier, where decision-making was a real problem for this CEO. This CEO was also very well known for communicating when things weren't going right, but never, ever communicating when things were going right. There was never a thanks, you did a really great job on that, or well done for meeting that deadline. Never was that communicated. He was silent except for things aren't working, we need to fix them, or something's gone wrong. That was the only communication his team were hearing from him. That happens way too often in businesses because we kind of forget and we think that we don't need to recognize when things are going right. A simple thank you goes far, far further than you would ever imagine. So reward and recognition is not just about throwing money at people, although of course in some cases you're going to want to do that to some extent. This is about recognizing contribution. Now, depending on your employees, again, this is about knowing your people. This might mean calling someone out at a team meeting to congratulate them for the job they did last week. This might mean having a program like a Staff Member of the Month or Staff Member of the Quarter program. This is not just monetary. This is about showing how much you value your people and how much their contribution means to the overall success of the business. Of course, on top of that, you may want to have reward systems, and these might be financially driven. This could be profit share systems. It could be financial rewards for goals being over exceeded. When you set a goal, you don't want to reward just for getting there necessarily. You want to go beyond, especially if you're going to offer money. This could be things like experiences, gift vouchers, a bunch of flowers, a dinner out. We're in lockdown, so I don't know when we're going to be doing that again. But these can be really low-cost rewards as well. And again, I encourage you to really know your people because rewarding and incentivizing individually is very, very powerful. Rewarding teams jointly, also very important, and I don't want you to forget doing that. But think of this. You've got a team of 4 people. And they've all done an awesome job to get a project across the line. They've really pushed hard and they've done an amazing job. And you want to reward them. And you're going to give them all, let's say, $200 each, which, that's a nice little perk, especially if it's unexpected. The element of surprise is key. So you could give them $200 each. You could give them a $200 Visa gift card each, and that would be great. Or your 4 people inside out. You know that Jane loves a trip to the day spa. So you get her a $200 gift voucher to the day spa. You know that Craig loves his camping and fishing. So you get him a $200 gift voucher to BCF. You know that John loves his barbecues, so you get him a $200 gift voucher to Barbecues Galore. And you know that Sally loves time with her family, so you get her a $200 movie gift card so she can take the kids to the movies. What do you think is going to happen if you do that instead of just the $200 for each of them? They will equally appreciate it in the moment, so don't get me wrong there. But when they go to spend that $200, if it's a Visa gift card, are they thinking of you when they spend that? Possibly, but not necessarily. But when you have given them something that shows them that you know them so well, when they go to use that gift card at the day spa, they're going to remember, this was really nice of my boss to do for me. That my boss understands me. My boss knew that this would be something I would love to do. You've just amped up the benefit in terms of engagement and retention on that $200 investment by more than 50% at a guess. I don't have an exact stat on that, but from experience and from what I've seen, that is absolutely the way it would work. So yes, sometimes we're looking at rewarding in terms of a monetary value, but don't forget the value of a simple thank you, of a job well done, of recognizing effort, contribution, and achievement amongst your team. And they are my 3 core ingredients for retaining top talent in your business. Make great decisions every step of the way. Harness the greatness that you manage to get into your team and get the best and the most out of them. And don't forget to recognize and reward your people for a job well done. Now, there are a trillion different elements and things that you could pop into those buckets, but they are the 3 big buckets that I think you could focus on to ensure that you can retain the best people in your business for the longest time possible. Thank you so much for joining me on this week's How to HR. I'll be back again next Thursday for another episode. And if there is a particular topic, a challenge, a struggle, a question that you would like me to cover on a future episode of How to HR, please just let me know. And the easiest way to do that is to put a comment directly under this video. Or if you're not already inside our Facebook group, come over and join us at HR Support for Australian Businesses. If you search group in Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, that's where you'll find us, and ask us there inside the Facebook group. Thank you again for joining me. Have a fabulous rest of your Thursday, and I'll see you again next week.